Let's go, girl.
Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe.
For short, not to be confused with WFT. My name is Mallory Hartley. I'm the associate producer here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Starting off the show a little bit differently today because we have a special guest in studio, Miss Tara Murray, the VP of Marketing at Fresh Innovations and Quiero.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for joining us again today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, you've been on WTF before.
I have, yes.
But for those of our audience that don't know you quite as well yet, give them a little bit of a background on you and where you came from and how did you get involved with working for Quiero?
I'm the VP of Marketing for Quiero. I've been with the company now about 4 years, but I've been in the guacamole industry for almost 20 years. That means I've been in there since I've been about 12. No. We became interested in Dave Campbell's because I have 2 student athletes that are now almost graduating from college, and it's near and dear to my heart to see how student athletes are lauded in the state and how Dave Campbell, especially on the football side, really enhances those programs and has a voice for some of those student athletes that don't necessarily get that coverage statewide to really talk about their efforts and who they are and how they're doing, on and off the field, which is what I love about Dave Campbell and everything that they do, and especially when I heard about the Team Mom program. Because with both of my daughters, I was a team mom and I was also a teacher for a period of time. So all of that, again, was very, very near and dear to my heart, and being able to sponsor the Team Mom program, to be able to meet, I think I met almost all the team moms except I think for the couple in Houston and Lubbock, I just couldn't make that travel work. But they are just such amazing people. They give so much back to the programs, and they're not looking for a big thank you. That's not why team moms do what they do. They do it because they really love the kids. They love their kids, of course, but they also love being around the other kids. And them giving back to those particular programs, the schools are just so appreciative of what those moms do, and I know personally how hard they work, and so to me it was a great fit because we have such great products, to build healthier people inside and out. So to me it was such an amazing fit for what we could do.
Absolutely. Now, and the campaign means so much to us, and we just wrapped up year 1. Like you said, and the winner of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Team Mom Appreciation Award was Miss Jeremy Anderson out of Aledo, which is really cool because Texan Live, Aledo is actually a Dave Campbell's Texan Live school, so we broadcast all of their football games, and you were actually at that presentation. So
I was.
Tell me about that presentation.
Oh, you say it, and
you get goosebumps from it.
It does. And Jeremy's son actually, one of her sons actually goes to West Texas A&M, and my daughter knows him. So it was really great to make that connection again. Student athletes knowing student athletes. But she was so surprised, and the people that nominated her were so excited and so thankful, and just couldn't say enough good things about her. And when we got there and talking to the football program about her, they're like, yes, she's the best. Everything that she does, the time and the energy and the heart and soul really that she puts into the program is absolutely phenomenal. And you can tell, with her winning, I think she won pretty handily through the voting. So you know that community really rallied behind her and got out there and voted. And was like, yes, this is the one for the state of Texas. That team mom is the team mom.
I love that so much. Now, looking ahead to next year's campaign, week 4, you guys are going to be partnering with the Dallas Cowboys at Highland Park for this campaign. Tell me what's going to go into that presentation.
Well, we're still working out the details on that one. Last year, it was an amazing event when we were at Highland Park and worked with that team mom, and we were able to get Drew Pearson, who was an absolute doll. He was so kind and so giving of his time. When people would want to take a picture with him, he had his Hall of Fame ring and his Super Bowl ring with him. He would take them off and let the other people wear it. And so he was just so kind and so giving of who he is to all of the fans. And so we'll kind of see what we can do this year. It's going to be really tough to top that because he's like one of my it was
like
crazy.
starstruck moment.
Yes, it really was. I mean, I got total fangirl and I was like, oh, but it was crazy, but it was wonderful. And Rowdy was out there, and so that he's always so much fun. He totally just went in through the crowd and got the crowd all riled up, and they did the coin toss with Drew and just had a blast. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I wish I would have been there. That would have been such a cool thing
It was
to
really cool,
Well,
definitely.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, Cowboys defensive end Marcus Lawrence is actually a proud endorser of the Team Mom Appreciation Award.
Yes.
Because his wife is a team mom herself.
She is. Sasha is a team mom, and they're so insanely busy. Yes.
Oh, I'm sure.
With his schedule, I mean, when he's on the road, even when they have home games, I mean, he's not there. You know, he's practicing or watching film or in meetings. So Sasha is so involved with their kiddos, and they have such wonderful kids. They're so kind, and he and Sasha have done an amazing job with their kids.
And what does it mean for him, for such a big figure like DeMarcus Lawrence, to be a proud supporter of this award?
You know, I think to me, what I got from him, it was very humbling for him. Because, you know, he's very close to his mom and saw the sacrifices she made for him in his journey to be who he's become. Right. So for him to be able to endorse that and to give back, and his videos with all of that really meant a lot to him. He was so proud and so honored to be a part of it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Now, sticking kind of on that same topic, we can't let you go without talking a little Texas football. Because last time you were on the show, you're getting goosebumps here.
I am.
We're really high on Texas football this year.
Yes, we are.
UT football, the UT Longhorns.
Yes.
Are you going to be going to any games this year? How are you feeling about the 2024 Texas Longhorns entering the SEC?
Gosh.
I've seen the schedule. Week 2 at Michigan. We're playing Texas A&M again this year.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, first Del Conte just winning the AD of the year really made me
that.
excited. That was really thrilling.
That's good karma.
Yes, very good karma. And you know, I just have to be so thankful for Sark. You know, coming in and understanding the SEC, how the SEC works, the teams within the SEC. Obviously, when we beat Alabama on their home turf by, I think it was 42 to ridiculous. So really excited about that. Michigan makes me nervous. Without Harbaugh, we'll see, but I know their assistant coach that they've elevated, he's really good, and his team really follows him and believes in him. So that's going to be a crazy game. But the game I'm really looking forward to is the A&M game. I really am. You know, I'm hoping that as the schedule continues, we'll get it on or near Thanksgiving. It's the 30th this year, which is the last game of the season, so I think the hype is going to be phenomenal. But I think you know, when I was at UT, those A&M games were an absolute blast. That was back when the bonfire was around, and I had a best friend that was at A&M, so I'd always go there for the games and vice versa. And it was just such a part of my growing up and the tradition of Texas football. So to have that game back and to have it be part of the lore of Texas football, I can't tell you how excited I am. And the schedule, you know, makes me a little nervous. But, you know, Florida and Kentucky and some of those other games, I'm like, bring it on.
Easy stuff.
Bring it on. The way that Quinn's going to be this year, and I think Arch, you know, how he showed himself in the spring game. I'm fingers and toes crossed. I'm really saying hook 'em horns all the way this year for sure.
I think so too. And being just an outsider for that Texas A&M game, because my team is all the way in Michigan, so I'm looking at this as a neutral college football fan. That's got to be one of the most exciting games in the state. So, are you going to be going to that game? Maybe.
I don't know.
I think you have to.
I don't know. I've gotten to an age that my couch is a little more comfortable and a little more quiet
and free.
Than the ruckus of the game, because I'm one that when I go, I'm so tuned into the game that when I actually go to the stadium and watch the game, there's a lot of the peripheral and the noise, and I like the replay. So what happened there, and why did they make that call? I need, even though I can put the thing in my ear and listen, I like the being in front of my TV. My girls, when they were little, especially for the OU game, I literally would bring a camping chair into my living room, put it right in front of the TV, and the whole house would clear out. Because I'm like, I don't even want to go to the game. I want to be honed into what's going on the field. I want to be able to watch the replays. I need somebody to explain that ridiculous call or why we didn't get in the end zone right now.
Correct.
And so to me, I want to be honed in on the game, because I'm one, when I go to the game, for any sporting event, I'm honed in on the game. Don't talk to me, don't whatever, I'm in on the game.
And it's funny that you say that, because my dad is a big Michigan State fan. He went to Michigan State, and people always ask him, when you have these big games like that, what is your go-to place? Do you have a special bar that you like to go to? He's like, no, at home, because I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yes.
I don't want anyone distracting me. And he gets really nervous too. I'm the same way as a college football fan. I get nervous. So I'm like, I want to be honed into the game. So much like you, I like to be at home for a big game and just take it all in from a fan behind the TV. So completely understand
very much
that.
so. And I have a really bad mouth, and I yell a lot, and not nicely.
I can totally relate to that.
So it's probably better that I just have my own space in my house. And even right now, talk about a great time to be a fan here in Dallas, right? Like last night watching the Mavs, tonight the Stars, the next 2 weeks, oh my God, it is a sports heaven.
It really
I'm so excited. And luckily my husband's traveling and my girls are now out of the house, so I have the whole house to myself for all of that, and it's amazing.
Don't have to watch your mouth or anything.
No,
you are just free to say what you
I
want.
can put it
and
as loud as I want. Yes,
no one's gonna say
my
anything.
dog gets a little freaked out, but I put her in another room.
She supports you though. She does support you from behind the door.
Exactly. So this time right now, to me, just because I love all the sports, that right now these next 2 weeks and how that's going to carry on, I have a great feeling for both teams, so I'm really excited.
Absolutely, I'm the same way. Well, before we let you go, I would be remiss not to ask you about all of the Quiero products that we have on the table here. We have some corn salsa.
Yes, that is brand new.
That looks so good.
It's really, really delicious. Good. The corn is so crunchy and has a lot of flavor. It's really delicious.
So what is do you like to dip that in chips?
Yeah, that one is a good chip one for me. It's also a great layering one. So if you get our guacamole, or even on top of the bean dip, just adding a little extra crunch besides the chip. It's just, it's a good layering, or just by itself, or if you top enchiladas or even like a taco topper, it would be amazing.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. We've got some avocado and
Okay.
hard-boiled egg, which looks fantastic.
Dude, this is, I'm super proud of this. It is actually avocado with hard-boiled egg and then spices. And that's legit all it is. And it has 3 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber. So it's a perfect breakfast.
That is fantastic.
All you do is open up one of these little mini cups, put it on a piece of toast for breakfast, and you're set. And they also freeze. And I mean, they're really, really delicious. And they're just hitting the markets. We're working with a lot.
New.
Yes.
Okay.
We're also working with a lot of national dietitians on this as well, because for those that are either pre-diabetic or even those that are diabetic, this is a perfect breakfast for them, especially if they find a low-carb item or vehicle to put it on. It's so great because it has a very low glycemic index, I believe that's right. Yeah.
I cannot wait to try that. And of course, the bean dip, my favorite. I'm a big bean dip girl. Big bean dip girl, and y'all's is probably my favorite bean dip. Quiero's bean dip is probably my favorite bean dip I've ever tried. So
good. And we're coming out with a
excited.
Black bean dip too. Yeah.
Oh,
it's coming out within the next month or so. I'll make sure you get plenty.
Hit your local store. Yes. And where can you get all of this stuff?
Your local here in Dallas, Tom Thumb and Albertsons.
Tom Thumb and Albertsons.
Yeah.
get your Quiero stuff because
Exactly.
it's really, really good. And I love your avocado necklace too.
Oh, thank
Very
you so
cute.
much. Thank you so much. I usually, this is
Could
my
not wear
nice
it.
little charm and I go all avocado where I can.
Oh,
so.
I just love that. We are big avocado fans here too.
Great.
Well, Tara, thanks so much for joining
Thank
us
you
today.
for having me. I appreciate it.
You are always so great to have in studio, and I love that you're
you.
such a college football fan like
Oh,
the rest of us
yes,
too. But
very much.
we're super excited for year 2 of our
Yes,
partnership
we are
with
too.
Yo Quiero. So thank you so much for
Thank
joining us
you.
today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We are Women Talking Football. We're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. talking football around the Lone Star State. Guys, tomorrow we send the magazine to press. So if you're not a subscriber yet, get on your laptop right now, texasfootball.com/subscribe, so you can get that magazine that we have worked so freaking hard on before it hits newsstands. Do it right now, texasfootball.com/subscribe to get your magazine, your 2024 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Summer Edition magazine before it hits newsstands. Up next, we spent a weekend in Waco for the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame 2024 induction ceremony. We're going to tell you all about it, but first, here's a word from our sponsors.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our
good.
broadcast heroes of the
Yes.
Texas Bible,
Thank you
Dave
so
Campbell's
much.
Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today.
can keep this
Driven
on
by
our-
producing quality broadcast video,
thing.
state-of-the-art
I mean,
audio, and
you know what? I can
LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before
Oh my gosh,
recommending
we'll
the next best
absolutely
steps.
take that.
Building great products is our business, and it's our
good
focus
to
on
see.
building
Thank you so much
meaningful
for
long-term
everything. You are
partnerships with our
seriously- we'll see you
clients that
soon,
sets
I'm
us
sure.
apart.
Yes.
From our 24/7, 365-day
Texas!
help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now.
Talk all about the new products that Yo Quiero is putting out, as well as the partnership that we have with Yo Quiero. They sponsor the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Team Mom Appreciation Award. We're always happy to have her on board, and she brought us some goodies too, which kind of rocks.
Dude, I'm not kidding. That spicy bean dip
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
is incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm really pumped. Y'all obviously just talked about this, but to give my take on this, the avocado and egg thing is going to slap in the mornings. Like, I'm super excited about
well,
that.
And we're
But
not super big breakfast people either, but that is definitely something I'm willing to sacrifice my no breakfast stand for, because that stuff looks really, really
well, and
good.
I feel like let me preface this because I have a lot of takes on breakfast. I love breakfast foods. I just don't typically eat them in the breakfast hour. Mm-hmm. But there are so many times, specifically, like we tend to work out in the morning, that I will start to get hungry at like more of like a 10:30 or 11 right before the show is about to go on, but I don't have time to eat Texas Football Today. I don't have time to eat lunch. That is perfect. Like that's exactly what I need, is like a little snack.
Well, and it comes within like a couple of containers too. So you get like probably, I don't know,
Four
four containers in this too. So that's easy to just stick in your backpack on the way to work and just bring it with you and put it on some toast. And
I think I bullied her into bringing the spicy bean dip. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Tara, we love you, but like you can't show up without the bean dip.
No, I wasn't kidding. This is some of my favorite bean dip. I mean, it is so stinking good. So we're super excited to have them as coming back for year 2 of their campaign. So pumped for that. Well, like I said earlier, we spent the weekend in Waco, Texas. We got down there.
Spent a lot of time in Waco.
We did. We probably spent more than the average human in Waco.
Unless you live there.
Unless you live there, correct, or go to school there. But we went down there on Thursday. We had a work event to go to that night. Spent around the pool all day on Friday, and then on Saturday, we were at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame 2024 induction ceremony, which was kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, it's our third year doing a show.
Third year doing it with the show, yeah.
So we originally, back in whatever year that was, I guess 2021, they had reached out, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame had reached out to us, and our president is on the board for the Hall of Fame, and so we've always been like close knit with them. There's the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award, but they reached out and were like, hey, can you stream the event? And we're like, well, if we're gonna go down there and stream the event, like, why don't we make it the grandioso of events, because that's what it is, like we should do a pregame show talking about these folks before they get up there, so people who might just be tuning in have a good background of what it is and why they're getting inducted.
Right, and this year we had, so Tepper was an analyst. You produced the show, obviously. Tepper was an analyst. We had Aaron Hardigan on as the host of the show, because Ishmael Johnson usually does it, but he just decided he didn't want to do it this year. No, that's not true.
He just doesn't like us.
He just doesn't like us. That's why he didn't do it.
Correct.
But he usually
Nothing
is
against
our
the Hall
host.
of Fame.
No, he had something else to do. But Aaron Hardigan actually stepped in at host, and I thought the show went really, really well altogether. What were your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's a great show. It's cool. It was a really cool induction class. We can walk through that real fast too.
I was gonna say I've got the names up here too. So we've got Riley Odoms. He represented the 60s, I believe.
Yeah, 69 and before.
Yes, and then Brent Duhan, who actually wasn't there, he didn't get to make a speech.
He had a medical procedure, and it sounds like everything is good, but he just wasn't able to drive to Waco to get there. But he was from Port Arthur High School.
Right, that's right. And then we had Corey Redding, which we'll talk about more in here in just a second. He was representing the 1990s.
From North Shore.
From North Shore, yes. And then Cedric Benson. You have a big fandom for Cedric Benson.
Oh, yeah. The
Going
late
way
Cedric.
back to Texas.
Yeah. Cedric Benson, obviously the incredible running back out of Midland Lee High School that then went on to play for the University of Texas. Just an incredible player, an incredible human being from what everyone had said. Unfortunately passed away a handful of years ago, but his mother, and I believe it was his brother, or cousin, I think it was his brother though, were there to accept the honor on his behalf, and I was very. The silence kind of fell over the room. It was one of those gone too soon type of things, but for what he did, and Tepper made an interesting point about him, saying that he feels like that's the last Texas high school football legend, in the way of he was the last cusp of not having this kind of digital social media age where sharing highlights is really easy, not only from a player to coach perspective, but to a grand audience. And so he was kind of one of those mythical, I thought it was funny that Tepper said he was one of those mythical creatures that you're like, oh my God, have you heard about the running back at Midland Lee? This kid's incredible. And it's then he finally gets on to the University of Texas, and it was oh wow, he's everything he was cracked up to be. But just a really cool for the Hall of Fame to honor a great like that.
Right, and like I said, I grew up watching the Big Ten, but I knew about Cedric Benson just because of how big of a name he was within just the Texas football community, whether that's high school or college. So that was really, really cool to see. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. And then Tim Buchanan, of course, longtime Aledo head coach. I got to interview him. That was really cool. He's a stand-up guy, really, really obviously talented coach. He was super pumped to be inducted. And then John Wilkins from Odessa Permian, he brought a big crowd.
Man, Mojo was out in full force. So he was, both of those, Tim Buchanan and John Wilkins, were inducted on through the Eddie Joseph Coaches Award. So the way that the Hall of Fame works is they always, obviously, I think it's really cool that they do this. They induct, as we were saying, based off of decades. And as a new decade comes in, the last decade gets out. When we first started doing it, it was 59 and before, now it's 69 and before. But they always always induct 2 coaches, and so those 2 were the recipients of the Eddie Joseph Coaches Award, which was just really cool. But Mojo was out in full force. 25, 30 of his former players. I mean, he had 7 or 8 tables full of people.
Right.
It was really cool, and he got up there and he said, "I have the mic. You're not taking it away from me." Gave an incredible speech. Very funny, witty guy, but it was cool to see so many of those players that he said are now on Medicare because they're so old.
Right.
But out there supporting John Wilkins, an unbelievable record on that guy, dude. He didn't coach for very long, only about 12 years, 13 years. His record was insane out there.
It was funny. At one point, he said, "All right, if you are a former player from this decade, stand up." And then, so all of them, of course, stood up, right? And then they all started to sit back down. He goes, "Oh, wait, stay up, stay up." And so they stood the rest of the speech. It was about another 10 minutes, but that was
It was awesome.
Fantastic.
Once a coach, always a coach is the best way to say that.
Yeah. He's got the personality to be that kind of guy. So that was really cool to see. And then the Tom Landry Award, of course. Randy Allen, head football coach at Highland Park High School, and the Gordon Wood Award was given to Oglesby. The Oglesby head coach was the one that accepted the award on behalf of the Oglesby football team, but he had a really, really great speech.
Oh, Jeb Dixon is an incredible guy.
Really, really good guy. And I remember something I saw before it was state championship games or something. I didn't really know much about him, but I saw an interview that he had done, and he's just a really good stand-up human being, and you can tell that he cares so much about those kids. I mean, he's one of those coaches that he's in it because he loves the game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge Jeb Dixon fan. Also, the last person to get inducted into the Hall of Fame was our Dave Campbell contributor to the game, named after, obviously, our very own Dave Campbell. But Robert Lee Brown, he's the PVIL Hall of Honor chairman.
Yes.
An incredible speech there that he gave, and a very... I am proud to be tied with a Dave Campbell award given to Robert Lee Brown. It was cool to watch him get to go in for all the work that he's done through the PVIL and their Hall of Honor. And
then our own president, Adam Hochfelder, he got up there. He made a speech. He got some kind of recognition. He got up there for a good 8 seconds and then said about 1 million times that he didn't know he was going to make a speech, and then he ran off the stage. So that was that.
Yeah. It's about on brand.
It's about on brand for him.
But him and then Joe West from the Hall of for the Texas High School Football Coaches Association both got a thank you from the Hall of Fame. That was just really cool for all the work that they've helped to do with them. So a great weekend overall. Always a fantastic event. Mike Anderson and Tiffany down there just do such a good job of putting that all together. Yeah, and we just really appreciate everything that they do to make that special for high school football.
Yeah, and the food looked really good too. I mean, we didn't get a chance to have any of the food because we were working the event, but it looked really, really good. But yeah, like you said, they take care of those inductees, and it was really cool too because a lot of people that didn't watch the show or don't know much about the induction ceremony itself, there's actually a silent auction that goes on during the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And all of those proceeds go to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, or I guess the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, because it's all based on donations. But there were a lot of cool things in there. Like I picked up a Matthew Stafford Los Angeles Rams helmet, which was really cool. Tepper won a football signed by the 2018 induction, Texas High School Football induction class. And there were a couple of other really cool things in there too. But I think that's one of the coolest things that the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony does.
And if you haven't been to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame down there in Waco, it's right across the street. It's actually on campus for Baylor. But it's a really, really cool building with a lot of different artifacts. You can see Wax Dave. There is a Wax Dave Campbell figurine. And it's funny because the clothes that Wax Dave is wearing were actually donated by Dave when he was still alive and given to them. He was like, well, if you're going to make a wax me, you better dress them in my clothes in typical Dave fashion. So those are Dave Campbell's actual clothes. So you can go pick up a little.
I would want the same for that. So. And I got to catch up with former North Shore defensive lineman Corey Redding at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame 2024 induction ceremony. Really great guy. Not as tall as
Leonard Davis
that I interviewed last year. Leonard Davis was more of an extended arm interview. I think Corey Redding was more of like a 3/4 extended arm interview. Still very, very tall, very, very big human, but he was incredible to talk to. He had a really cool story about Leonard Davis, actually, in his interview. So without further ado, here is my interview with a former North Shore defensive lineman, Corey Redding, at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, standing here with former North Shore defensive lineman, Corey Redding. Corey, there is no doubt that you have left your mark on the Texas high school football community in such a big way at North Shore, and even continuing into your college career at Texas. What was your initial reaction when you got that call saying that you were going to be inducted into the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame?
It was a pretty amazing phone call. Craig Way, saw his name show up on my phone, and I'm like, Craig never calls me. So what's going on, Craig? And say, hey, Corey, how you doing, man? I hope I'm not bothering you. No, I'm having lunch with my wife, but talk to me. Hey, man, I just wanted to let you know that you've been inducted into the class of 2024 Hall of Fame for high school. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Thank you again. It's a pleasure to hear from you. And so just to get that phone call was just a breath of fresh air. To hear from my buddy Craig and to be a part of this elite class is just truly an honor.
And you're joining some of the greats that went through here, Matthew Stafford and Leonard Davis, which I'm going to ask you about in just a second, because it sounds like you guys were buddies. What does it mean to be inducted and join this elite group of players that have left their mark on the high school football community?
Yes, Texas is built with rich tradition of talented players, date back years and years, and just so much talent come out of the state of Texas. And to be in the hall with these men, former teammates and former competitors, and to have my name enshrined with them is just truly an honor again. And at the end of the day, we were just playing a kid's game, at a very high level, and we were very good at what we did, not knowing that it would yield these types of fruits down the road. But I'm just again humbled, blessed, and honored to be a part of it.
And before the interview started, you said that you had some fond memories with Leonard Davis, who was inducted into the 2023 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. You want to walk me through that a little bit?
I know Leonard Davis as Big Len.
I love it.
We were teammates at Texas, and Big Len was always into different things. Country boy, race, remote control cars, riding cattle and horses, things like that. Well, I got a knock on my door about 3 a.m. one night, and there was Leonard. And Big Len, I opened the door, I'm like, Big Len, it's 3 a.m, what are you doing? So, hey, see Red, that's what they called me in college. See Red, let's go in the parking lot and race remote control cars, bring your car out. And I was like, come on, Big Len, I'm tired.
You can't deny that.
You can't deny it. I was like, all right, man, just give me 5 minutes. But no, Big Leonard was a great teammate, heck of a player, and I hated going against him in practice. He's a
big guy.
Big man to get around,
And finally, North Shore, they got a pretty good ball club, yes. I'd say. Even now, they brought him a couple of state titles, made a state title appearance last year. What does it mean for you to kind of represent the North Shore community in this type of way? Not necessarily, winning a state championship nowadays, but representing the community in this type of way now.
It's awesome to, go down the streets, walk the same hallways, and play on the same fields at those kids, and let them know that, you're doing great things now, but you're standing on the shoulders of men that, laid the foundation for that, right? And I realized that playing in that community that I'm standing on the shoulders of guys before me. And so we have to continue to carry the torch for one another and show the younger class what it means to be a Mustang, what it means to earn the right to win in everything that you do, in the classroom, in the training room, on the football field, even with your grades. So it's an honor, truly blessed to be here to receive this award and to take it back to the community, have it displayed at the school so we can have future potential Texas High School Football Hall of Famers look at the trophy and go, I want to be the next person from North Shore to do the same thing.
I love that. And lastly, are you going to be going to any games this year?
Which games?
North Shore games?
Oh, yeah. I always try to make it to the state title game. I was at the state title game this year. I try to follow them throughout the playoffs. But, yes, I always try to make it back to Galena Park, North Shore High School off of Wallaceville Road and watch a game or two and support the kids.
That's awesome. Well, Corey, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on such an incredible honor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Aaron, back to you. Thanks again to Corey. Corey Redding for catching up with us at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Still love that Leonard Davis story. I mean, that is, and it's funny too, because at the beginning of the interview, before we even started rolling, because we didn't do these live, I was talking to him a little bit about it and how tall he was, and he was like, yeah, you're really short. And Tepper goes, oh, you should have seen who she interviewed last year. And Corey was like, who? And Tepper goes, oh, she interviewed Leonard Davis, and she just looked like a little pipsqueak. And and then Corey Redding goes, yeah, Big Lynn. And I was like, let's go. They were actually teammates at the University of Texas back in the day, so they had a couple of good stories together, but I could tell that there was some really good chemistry between the two of them.
Maybe you should call me like Big Ash, because I'm so much bigger than you are.
Big Ash, that's hilarious. Big Lynn. I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. But the smile that he got on his face, I was like, oh yeah, they're best friends.
Yeah,
like I could totally tell that
they were bros.
Friends. So that was a lot of fun, and congratulations again to all of the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductees. That was a lot of fun to attend. I love doing that every single year, because it's just a really, and you learn so much too. I mean, you walk through the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame portion of it, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, like you said, the Dave Campbell Library. And if you haven't checked it out, you really should, because they put up a Texas Rangers World Series 2023 World Series display there too. Really cool. So obviously Tepper was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But it's a really, really cool building. If you haven't gone, you should definitely check it out. Like you said, it's on the campus of Baylor. So
I just love your Greg Tepper impression.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually what it looked like.
Doesn't that? Wait, that's what it looks like. All the time. When he comes up to my desk and he's seen pages, he's like, here's some pages. Sorry, Teb, if you're watching this. Don't cut it and don't show them this. Anyways, that'll do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Tomorrow, guys, we send the magazine to press. We finally send this dang thing off to press. We're super pumped. We had a little bit to do with the magazine this year. I wrote the 3A cover boy story. You wrote the coaches of the year.
Teams of the year.
Teams of the year. I think. I don't remember. It's been a long time. We've done a lot with this magazine. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I haven't done much at all.
Go to texasfootball.com/subscribe to make sure that you get your copy before it hits newsstands. It'll probably come out on newsstands in July sometime, but if you want it before that, texasfootball.com/subscribe. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe to us on Apple
Spotify.
Podcasts. Apple Podcasts.
Spotify. It's superior. I'm not getting into this argument again. I'm tired. I want to go home.
We appreciate everybody's support week in and week out. We love doing the show, and we couldn't do it without you guys' support. So until next week, we'll see ya on Women Talking Football next Thursday at 2 p.m.
Oh, wah, wah, wah.